All right, guys, it's Vena here from the lounge, the spiritual lounge. Today is July 1st. Whew. Okay, let's get cracking, shall we? I know in the last video there was some stuff that I said that I wanted to talk about regarding this upcoming July 4th weekend. And there is. I was given a lot of I'll call them events coming, predictions, etc. And there were so many I just didn't want to include them in the last video because there was other stuff that, we needed to talk about. But can we just take one moment and give our and my spiritual companions, our helpers from the other side, a huge thank you. They have been giving incredible foresight, info, advice, etc. And they've been on the money. They have been on the money. I may get a few time periods wrong, but 100% they have been on the money. And I just want to thank them seriously for their efforts. They're obviously with us. And that's not only my spiritual helpers, but yours too, because yours are guiding you to a place where you're seeking, you're searching, trying to do the right thing. Trying to do the right thing in this chaotic world, in these chaotic energies, right? And they are helping you. They are guiding you from behind the scenes, whether you can feel it or whether you don't. A lot of you do, so that's a good thing. But they're always there. They're always guiding. They're always impulsing us different information, different feeling type of energies. They're always flowing with something. Okay, you're never, ever, ever alone, ever. You could literally be in a cave under, like, miles underground, and you're never alone. You're always connected, and there's always helpers. Um, and I can't stress that enough, and it's so important people know that. Even through your worst moments that you're feeling super down or super depressed, no one or nothing has abandoned you. Love is still flowing. Your helpers are still there. It's just that you have to move through these things with effort. They will help your efforts, but they are always there. Always. You know, the the pulse of divine love pulses non-stop. Non-stop. Okay? It doesn't stop. There's no we're going to take a break today. You know what? Let's go on vacation to the other end of the multiverse and just leave Vina or Sharon or uh, JoJo alone. No, none of that ever, ever. And you can always connect with that pulse of love, um, that that energy. And if you don't know how, just acknowledge that it's there. Acknowledge it. And that is enough, okay, to set some type of chain in motion in the background, okay, to help you feel your connection even more. All right? So, yeah, once again, I just want to thank my companions. Their info, their predictions have just been on, spot on. Um, and quite a few of you have emailed me and told me, geez, like. So today I have quite a few things that I've seen coming. I wrote them all down. Um, and although a lot of them aren't seemingly good, remember, if something is not slated to happen to you, if something is not in your energy field, it's just not going to happen to you. Okay? So please don't, you know, uh, start panicking and in the comments, is this going to happen here? Is this going to happen this? Is this going to. No, just chill. Chill. If it's not slated for you or the ones you love, it's just not going to happen. And if it is, there would be nothing you could do to stop it. Same with me. Okay? So, let's get going here with so much info. And also, let's start with one a recap on a prediction. Um, the Elon and Don the Con drama. The girls are like seriously at it. I told you guys it was given to me a while ago. It's on video. There would be a pause in their fighting and then it would pick back up again, and it's going to be with a vengeance. Okay? A vengeance. And we're getting to that point, and we haven't even gotten to the real ugliness of it yet. Okay? And I also told you that EM would get to a point where he would basically threaten and hold hostage information against not only this administration, but possibly the information that he has on, you know, the country. He would work some dirty stuff with that, like threats and hold that hostage, etc. That's coming, and we're kind of seeing that all now. I mean, the latest thing, the very latest thing, um, just to tell you how ugly things have gotten. Um, Don the Con was asked, leaving or entering or whatever the White House, would he consider having Elon deported? And he said, we'll have to look into that. Um, that's how ugly things have gotten. Okay, so that is definitely going to explode into some serious ugliness. Okay, um, and the Thune prediction. Boy, were my guides right about that one. He is standing firm in not getting rid of the parliamentarian. And if you guys don't know how important that prediction was, I didn't know that this was going to be the actual way that he does something really good and standing firm for us. Um, but because he is a die-hard conservative, not a good man, um, very. Although he's not true MAGA, he's a die-hard, staunch conservative. So I didn't know how this was all going to unfold. But what he has done is the parliamentarian who has stripped so much from this bill, as they said it would be stripped, um, that it's seriously unrecognizable from the initial bill. Okay, so all that stuff everyone was panicking about, a lot of it's gone. A lot of it is out of the bill. Okay, but anyway, she serves at his discretion. He's the Senate Majority Leader, and he, because she has stripped so much illegalities out of the bill and stuff that can't go into a budget bill, um, that there's been major calls to fire her, and he refuses to do it. He will not do it, and he could have done it easily, just like that, literally just like that. So that prediction is I'm so happy for that coming true, because she has literally saved this country from a lot of heartache, and he has too, whether he acknowledges it or not. Um, let's see. Uh, and kudos to the Democrats because they forced a reading on the bill, um, and they're adding all these amendments to the bill to delay it even further. And then, Republicans are forced to either take quick votes on it. That's what they call the votorama when stuff is added to the bill. So it's like my original prediction that they gave me. It would be sliced and diced and blip, blip, blip. It would just, we'll end up with minimal care to Medicare. I'm sorry, Medicaid. Um, and even now, those have been pushed down the line to like 2029. Okay. Um, and so, I mean, the BBB, the big, they call it beautiful, I call it disgusting, bill is nothing like what Republicans initially wanted. Okay. And don't forget, once it goes to a vote with the Senate, it has to go back to the House for passage. Okay? Remember that. It's still not done. So even if they do vote on it today and approve it or whatever, it still has to go back to the House for final approval, and they're not happy with it. So that's going to be very interesting. And they can't afford to lose hardly any votes in the House. So I just see that this thing it's almost like one of those dead weights I was shown. Dead weights dragging, and just no, it's just not going to be what they think. One more bit of good news. Netanyahu, I've told you about him. He will know fear. He will know true fear. Well, come to find out that he is facing a bunch of criminal charges in Israel. And Don the Khan got involved and said, look, drop those charges against him or we'll stop sending that $4 billion a year that the United States sends Israel free and clear, right? Well, the High Court in Israel said no. They rejected that and they're moving ahead with charges. And that's not good for him because he's corrupt AF. Okay? So I saw him, if you remember, I said I saw him gripped with fear. And it looks like that's going to be why. Okay? He needs to go. He needs to go. And he won't even be around by the end of next year. He won't even be here. So, all right, let's get going. The very first image that was given to me was Don the Khan being taken through a tunnel in a wheelchair. Okay, very covertly, and we're talking around this weekend. Okay, don't hold me to an exact date because I'm not interpreting the exact date if I'm even getting one. Okay, but I saw this just as clear as I'm looking at this laptop. He will be taken from or to the White House in a wheelchair through a tunnel. I even saw, I believe he has on a blue suit. Okay. That's how clearly I saw this. And also, they had something covering either his shoulders or his legs. Um, we're going to be hearing from J.D. Vance. It seems like he'll do some type of uh, press conference or um, speaking thing, and he's going to be deliberately lying, kind of very lightly, whatever. But it looks like there's some type of big upheaval in the White House. And that goes in line with this period of time from, I'll even say from now, but especially tomorrow through on, um, super duper chaos, super duper chaos in the White House. Um, all type of stuff going on. I couldn't even keep track of all the stuff that I saw going on from outside and inside. And from the outside, it looked like there were tons of people around. The outside, the inside, they had this emergency with Don the Khan they're dealing with, and with other stuff. And Vance just looked so overwhelmed and confused and just it's a mess. The wording they kept giving me, and not only for the White House, but just for this country in that period of time, um, is chaos. Chaos. There's going to be stuff going on everywhere, guys. Okay? Just everywhere, almost touching every single state. I just see a lot of chaotic movement, a lot of violent type of energy, and it seems like there's going to be one main massive um, type of event happening, um, and it is going to be in the United States. But there's going to be other events going on throughout the world. Like, for instance, I saw something with Greece. I don't know if they're going to have riots there or fighting or some type an eruption. But Greece was kind of singled out to me. I saw something major going on in New Mexico involving either the Indians or the Mexicans out there. Um, and these were just a few of the things that were kind of that I was able to pick apart because there was so much stuff I was seeing that's going to go on. Okay, I have already turned down several picnic invites. I'm just gonna stay in the house, and not because out of fear. I just don't want to be involved in any of the chaos. I know that I'll be okay, but I just don't want to be involved in it. Um, okay, I saw this major image of Canada sort of looming over us. Not in they're attacking us or anything like that, but it was something about them looming over us, and I allowed that image to settle, and more came through. It could be something like up in that area that borders Canada with those states. The energy could be like a mass type of blackout, um, or them closing their border to us, or something that involves Canada and them sort of like being over us. So I don't know. It could be the whole those states and the electricity issue. Um, and I couldn't get any more definitive on that. Although that is kind of definitive, but I just see it's just gonna involve a lot of different people and probably a lot of different states. When I tell you that there's going to be so much chaotic energy all around everywhere, I, I just can't describe it. I saw something. Um, I don't even know, and I have to check. Um, but I saw some type of storm sort of making its way towards the east coast of Florida. And I don't know if. Well, you know what? You guys can tell me later in the comments. If there's something brewing out there or coming towards Florida. Uh, let's see. Another thing I got Gavin Newsom, his safety. I am a little concerned for his safety. Um, I'm thinking he will eventually be okay, but I was concerned. I saw some type of possible event involving him and his safety. So, um, I hope he's okay. Hope he's going to be okay, but I think he will be. Um, let's see. Yeah. So I would say from tomorrow on, for an indefinite period of time, the word chaos is just everywhere. And this is not a fear mongering type of thing. This is not nothing like that, but it's just like a prep. And it just dawned on me that a lot of times they will give me some stuff regarding an incident, but they won't get nitty gritty just so that that fear doesn't really grip us. And that's a good loving thing. It really is if you think about it. That's them being very loving, because we know that they can see, um, down the line. They can see the energy patterns of things, how it unfolds, and sort of the end point of things, right? They can see all that. And through their divine wisdom, they kind of know, how much to give and how much not to give. So I get that. But I guess, just to kind of prep our minds, there's some shit coming. There's some stuff coming. Okay, excuse my language to those who find that offensive. By the way, cuss words don't bother spirit. They don't. It means nothing to them. Zilch, zippado. They don't. It doesn't register like that to them. Um, the energy behind the words is what registers to them. And so a release of frustration or a release of anger is not a bad thing in their books, right? Okay, so, um, but anyway, so we've got some really, we've got a lot coming up. A lot coming up. Um, I know that I've told you guys about some of the attacks that are going to happen randomly, sort of, in the United States. They may occur, um, but they won't be big enough to where it's like, OMG, the United States is under attack. No, it's not going to be that kind of sort of attack, but it'll be, you know, it'll be like enough to where it's effectual. Okay. Um, so another thing I wanted to mention was several people, and one of them is including one of my first cousins, um, have sent me. And by the way, thanks for watching. It's another one. There's like 30 of us, of first cousins I have, and I didn't know a few of them were firm watchers until, a little while ago, and I appreciate them. Thanks, cousins. Thanks. Um, but anyway, several people sent in either links to videos. I can't watch them all. I can't watch half the stuff people send. Um, but I do appreciate you sending them. But they are of different spottings of the aliens, the ET ships, um, that are around. They're here. They've been here. Some of them are making themselves a tad bit more visible. Look for also that type of energy, even more so. More of those open sightings, more of those open, and I'll just say this on a light note, but I'm only half kidding. Wouldn't it be interesting if they use this time period to just kind of have a super duper open reveal? Wouldn't that be interesting? Okay. Um, excuse me. And I would welcome that at this period of time with all that's going on in this world and in this country. Boy, would that be a super duper distraction, right? And I'm only half kidding about that. Okay, there's one more thing that I really want to talk about, that's from an astrological perspective, okay? I try not to discuss astrology too much because I know that a lot of you are not very familiar with astrology in a deeper sense, and that's totally okay. Um, and some of you are just flat out not interested, but some are. And I only tell about major events, okay, that are going to kind of affect everyone. Okay, I don't talk about your individual signs or your. Um, I don't know your chart, so I can't talk about your really um, individual happenings that's going on. So this is something that affects is going to affect everyone. Okay, so if you can remember a while back, I said that one of the things that was going on now was to kind of rid us of that super MAGA mentality, that extreme selfishness. Um, I got mine, you got yours. That extreme conservative mindset, okay? And we can see that kind of unfolding with all the stuff that's been going on with this administration that's affecting everyone. So even the diehard MAGAs are being affected. And a lot of them have pulled away from Don the Con and just being a MAGA. I've seen some people myself, I've witnessed it. Um, the light bulb turned on. But here's the thing: for that to happen on a grand scale, we would need something that really is going to just open eyes, okay? We have a configuration coming up on the 7th of July, okay? Neptune will go retrograde, okay? Neptune will be in Aries, okay? Whenever a planet goes retrograde, Neptune is higher spirituality, um, probably at its highest form, okay? Illusions, delusions, um, addictions, that type of thing, okay? In the sign of Aries, which is, no pretense, bold, honest, open, okay? When it goes retrograde, okay, sort of the opposite qualities, okay, resurface, and not only that, are the most prominent, okay? So, Neptune being retrograde in such an openly bold sign, the mask will be ripped off, okay? It's going to rip the mask off, and it will be there for an extensive period of time. I don't know the exact period, so I'm not going to say, but we're talking a long period of time, okay? Um, in its retrograde motion, not only are masks ripped off, but the truth about things is just, you can't deny it. You just cannot deny it. Okay? So that's going to be on a grand scale, affecting everyone as well as us personally. Okay? We're going to see the truth about a lot of things within our own lives, within us. Okay? And you won't be able to deny it. Okay? So, the reason I think that's such a good configuration is because the sheer ugliness of this MAGA movement is going to hit a lot of MAGA people. And it's going to be to the point where they just won't be able to deny it. They won't be able to hide from it. Um, their true ugly selves is just going to be, boom, dead in their face. Okay? And not only that, but not only about themselves, but they'll be seeing the truth about their party, their leader, their leaders, etc. Okay? And this is one of those everything moves in divine order type of things. Okay? So those who have been like on the fence, or who have been like still, twisting their brains into knots, trying to still defend this insanity, etc., they just won't be able to do it any longer. Neptune in retrograde status just won't allow them to. Okay? And it being in such an open sign, such a brutally honest sign, it just, in other words, um, they just won't be able to hide it or defend it or cover up or none of that. They just won't be able to do that anymore. Okay? So, now, along with that will come a lot of people who. Do you remember one of the predictions they gave me was that we're going to start seeing some violence from MAGA, but not towards like Democrats, but towards their own. Because now they're going to start realizing how much they were lied to, how much they were conned, how much they were scammed, how much they were fooled. Okay? So look for certain things like that. Okay? It's just going to be. There are other configurations going on, astrological ones. There's quite a few. Uranus going into Gemini, um, which also kind of sparks. Um, Uranus is one of the things about Uranus is everything out the blue. Okay, and being in the sign of Gemini, it's like explosive type of things. Gemini rules the mind. Okay, communication, borders, um, our neighbors, etc. Okay, so we also have that going on. Um, it's there's a bunch of stuff going on. Politics will be completely different once Uranus moves into Gemini. The political landscape will just be different somehow, and we'll just have to allow that to unfold. Um, and Gen Z and Gen Alpha are really going to play an important part in this period of time. Okay, um, in these next coming years. Just to give you an example, the last time we had World War II, Uranus was went into Gemini. Now, the energies are different this time. So, and I don't see a World War III. And I was told specifically that it wasn't going to be a World War III. Remember when this Israel and Iran conflict started, and everyone was like, "Oh my God, it's World War III," and I was like, "Nope, not seeing it." They said no, and it's not. It hasn't been. Um, but that's the type of energy we're going to get. It won't. I know it's not going to manifest itself in like a world war type of scenario. It's just going to be another type of explosive issue in another form. Okay, which we need. We need. All right. So, but anyway, so I wanted to tell you about that configuration that's coming up. It's almost just about here. Um, yeah. So, guys, we're going to be okay. Um, let the pulse of love do her thing the way it's got to be done, and the way that it will affect the best change in not only us individually, but on a mass scale. Um, that's how we move and groove down here. Okay, that's how we work through things here. All right, and once again, kudos to everyone who is trying to keep their good core within, despite all this ugliness. Okay, don't worry about those guys. They're not winning. They've already lost. They literally have already lost. Okay, when you succumb to evil, okay, you have to, okay, balance that out. You just have to. You can't. You can BS us here. You can BS yourself, but in the end, you cannot BS the universe. You cannot BS divine love. Divine love, okay, will make sure that all of that is extracted from you before you can reap the rewards of being in constant connection with that pulse of divine love. So, what that means is that your fight back to being, because the rewards of that connection are immeasurable. Immeasurable. Okay? Because divine love is the real force of the multiverse. I won't even say the universe, the multiverse, because multiverse covers all the fluid different dimensions, right? Okay. So, to those who are staying steady, good to their core, not letting the hate take over, you've already won. You've literally already won. And to those who have succumbed, your claw back is a rough one. It's a true rough one. Okay? But some are going to make it. They'll have a long, hard road ahead of them. Some may not at first. Eventually, everyone hopefully will. But to those who are trying, to those who want to embrace that goodness, hold on to that compassion, okay? That caring sense, that empathy. You've already won. You're already there. Okay? Don't worry about those other ones. They've already lost. They've already lost. Every time, honest to goodness, I saw a super quick clip of Stephen Miller yesterday. And the very first thing that came to me was a sense of true sadness for him. Because I know what's ahead for him. I just know. I know. And it's going to be to such a degree for him that it just won't be anything anyone can do. It'll be something that he'll have to work through and claw through and rectify on his own. And there is, I mean, don't get me wrong. I felt sadness, but you know, at this point in time, I would look at him on the ground and just step over him and keep walking. And that's not being cruel or mean or anything like that. It's just when a person does certain things and you see their karma unfold, you see those energies returning back to them, you cannot rescue them from that. You just can't. So that's just the reality. Think about it. No one was able to rescue you from your karma or your certain things that happen in your life, right? You had to work through certain things. You had to change. You had to um, get better, do things differently. Same for me. Many times. More times than I can count. But so, you know, that's just the reality of things. All right? Um, so, I think I'm going to end there. And chaos, 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 chaos. Yes, it's coming. It's coming. But We're going to move through it, um, and get through it. So take care, everyone. And thanks for tuning in. I always appreciate it. I really do. And I know this is a lot to digest today. So I'm definitely going to end it. All right.